Hi everyone, so this is going to be my first video on my new channel. I'm going to be doing some mental health videos on here as well as some makeup reviews, tutorials, all that kind of fun stuff. For my first mental health topic video, I wanted to talk about living with mental illness because I have been doing so for a long time. And mental illness can affect every part of a person's life, and it's also very, very misunderstood. When it comes to living with a mental illness diagnosis or a few, it's important to attack it with kind of a holistic approach because at least that's what I found works best for me. I know some people do therapy, some people only do medication, some people don't do any approaches at all, some people prefer natural remedies, all kinds of stuff. For me, I found that a combination of all of the above is really the best approach for living with mental illness and managing it on a day-to-day basis. When one of those things is missing, I find that things go downhill pretty quickly. Obviously, treatment approaches vary a little bit depending on what your diagnosis or diagnoses plural is. However, in a general sense, that's what I found works for me. As somebody with multiple mental illness diagnoses, it's important to manage all of them, not just one of them, because they can kind of throw each other off. So it's important to work on treating all of them. I've been in therapy on and off since I was 5. I've been in pretty consistent therapy since I was about 15 and have had 1 inpatient, 2 partial, and 1 residential type treatment hospital stays. Those were pretty helpful for me, especially the partial program that I went to twice. They did a form of therapy called DBT, and that was really, really beneficial. It was founded by Marsha Linehan originally as a treatment for borderline personality disorder. However, people have discovered over the years that it can actually help treat a variety of mental health diagnoses. I've also been on at least some sort of medication since I was also about 14 or 15. I originally started with just an SSRI antidepressant, which is something like Zoloft, Prozac, Celexa, etc., those kind of medications. Then when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, they added some mood stabilizers. I've been on a few. Currently I take lithium, which is considered kind of like the gold standard for bipolar disorder. It's been very beneficial to me. I know a lot of people are wary of taking medication because it can take a while to find the right medication or combinations of medications, and a lot of people are afraid that it'll turn them into a zombie or that it'll change their personality or who they are. The thing about medication is if you are on the wrong medication for your diagnosis or for your brain chemistry, it can affect you by making you tired or by making you feel kind of numb or whatnot. But if you're on the right medication for your brain chemistry and for your diagnosis, it can be enormously helpful. And being on the right medication can also make it easier to do work in therapy by balancing out that brain chemistry first. For me, at least, medication has been very helpful. I take a combination of things currently. I'm also on a as-needed medication for panic attacks, and I take a medication that's used off-label. It's actually a high blood pressure medication, but they use it off-label for PTSD to treat nightmares and flashbacks, and that's been very helpful for me as well. So don't be afraid to be patient with it and find a psychiatrist who's willing to listen to your concerns and needs and adjust things accordingly. I don't use a ton of natural remedies, but I know some people who do, and those can be very beneficial for some people. I know some people have tried acupuncture and that has been helpful for them. Some people have tried various supplements like SAMe, or what's the other one? I think it's St. John's wort, if I'm correct. I think that's another one. And also being low in certain B vitamins can affect depression in some people. So definitely look into getting your levels of folate checked, because that can certainly affect depression in some people who aren't able to process it properly. And also something that's been pretty helpful for me in terms of living with mental illness is doing my research on it. Anytime I've been diagnosed with something, particularly with my big bipolar diagnosis, it's been very helpful for me and for my family as well to do research about it, to learn more about exactly what it is I'm dealing with, so that it's easier for me and for my family and friends to deal with it properly and in a healthy way. I firmly believe that knowledge is power, and there are tons of great books out there on all sorts of mental illness diagnoses and mental illness in general. If you can't afford to buy books, check out your local library. I mean, there's tons of literature out there if you're willing to hunt it down, and there are various book lists online, all sorts of things like that. So definitely don't be afraid to do your research. There's a ton of information out there. When it comes to managing my mental illness on a day-to-day basis, it's certainly helpful for me to try being the key word here, to eat responsibly and to nourish my body with healthy foods. Recently, I haven't been doing very well with that because I do have an eating disorder, but it is definitely a big component in dealing with things day to day. Obviously, if you are malnourished, your body is not going to be able to balance neurotransmitters as well as it would be if you were healthy and nourished and all that. It's also important for me to pace myself and to learn to recognize symptoms of mood episodes or panic attacks before they happen, so that I can manage them appropriately instead of being kind of blindsided by it. It's also important for me to not only take the medication that my doctor prescribes, but to take it as prescribed, try not to miss doses, try to take the appropriate dose, all of that, you know, because if your doctor prescribes you a medication and you're not taking it appropriately, it's not going to work the way it's supposed to. It's also important to communicate with your therapist, because same with the medication thing, if you're not adequately communicating with your therapist, it's going to be really hard for them to help you. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear that. My AC just turned on, so if it's loud, I apologize. I just turned it off, but it takes a while for the whole house fan to shut itself off. That's really annoying. I know that it's difficult sometimes when it comes to mental illness to want to be social, to want to be active and do things with friends, to be able to stay on a consistent work schedule, to take care of stuff around the house, but not isolating and getting out and doing stuff with your friends can certainly help. And also, even if you're not even if you don't have a super active social life, even talking to friends online or spending time with a pet that you care about, anything like that can help to lift your mood and kind of recenter yourself. This hasn't been a terribly long video. I am still trying to get adjusted to my new filming setup, and it's been a very long week, but I did want to put out sort of a general mental health topic video for you guys and get started with my new channel. So I hope that everybody enjoys it. As always, if you have any topic suggestions for my mental health topic series, feel free to leave them in the comments or to send them to me personally. If you know me personally, that would be awesome. I definitely am happy to take requests and talk about things that you all want to hear about. And if there are any specific makeup tutorial requests, any specific looks, color combos, makeup brands, etc. that you want to see, any techniques you want to learn, all of that, same thing goes. Leave them in the comments or contact me personally. And I hope you all have a great weekend, life, etc. I don't know. I'm still working on coming up with good intros and outros, so be patient with me. Thanks.